Welcome back to the channel, my friends. It's your boy, Andrew Wayne, back with another video. We're diving into 10 insane chess tricks that will leave your opponents absolutely speechless. We've got traps, sacrifices, and psychological warfare. This isn't just about winning, it's about winning with style. Get ready to unleash your inner chess ninja because after this video, your opponents are going to be wondering what hit them. Let's get started. Welcome to the Ultimate Chess Trick Showdown. Alright, trick number 1. We're calling this one the Grandmaster's Disguise. Now, this is a psychological tactic, my friends. We're gonna lull our opponent into a false sense of security. Start by making a few questionable moves. Not outright blunders, but moves that make you look like an enthusiastic amateur. Let them win a pawn, maybe even a minor piece if you're feeling bold. Make them think they've got you on the ropes. Here's the thing though. While they're busy counting their chickens before they hatch, you're setting up a deadly trap. A checkmate, to be precise. This trick is all about patience and timing. You gotta sell it, make them think you're about to crack under the pressure. Then bam! Spring the trap and watch their jaw hit the floor. They'll never see it coming. It's the ultimate chess hustle. Let's move on to trick number 2, which we'll call the Ghost Queen Trap. This one's a classic, and for good reason. It plays on one of the most fundamental principles in chess greed. We're going to make our opponent an offer they can't refuse, a chance to capture our queen. Now, I know what you're thinking, the queen is the most powerful piece. And you're right, it is. But here's the thing, this queen, she's a ghost, a phantom menace. Because when they take the bait, they'll realize they've walked straight into a checkmate trap. The key here is to set up your other pieces in a way that forces a checkmate after your opponent captures the queen. It takes some planning, some careful positioning, but let me tell you, the payoff is oh so sweet. The look on their face when they realize they've been bamboozled, priceless. Sometimes the most obvious moves are the most deceptive. The Ghost Queen Trap is all about luring your opponent into a false sense of security. They think they're making a game-winning move by capturing your queen, but in reality they're sealing their own fate. The beauty of this trap lies in its simplicity and elegance. It's a reminder that in chess, as in life, things are not always as they seem. So, next time you're playing, remember the Ghost Queen Trap. Use it wisely, and watch as your opponent falls into your carefully laid trap. Moving on to trick number 3, we're calling this one the Time Bomb Fork. This one's all about creating chaos on the board. We're talking double attacks, pressure from all sides, the whole shebang. The fork, as you know, is a powerful weapon in the chess player's arsenal. But the Time Bomb Fork? This is next level stuff. We're not just forking 2 pieces, we're setting a timer on that fork. Imagine this. Your opponent moves their queen, feeling all confident and powerful. But little do they know, they've just activated your time bomb. Suddenly, their most valuable piece is under attack, along with another key piece. They're forced to make a decision, and no matter what they choose, they're gonna lose material. It's a lose-lose situation, and you're the one holding all the cards. It's a high-risk, high-reward tactic, but when it pays off, oh man, it's a thing of beauty. Chapter 4, the Python Strategy. Alright, trick number 4, the Python Strategy. Now this one's for all you positional players out there. It's not about flashy attacks or quick checkmates. It's about slowly squeezing your opponent, cutting off their escape routes until they have nowhere left to run. Think of a python, slowly constricting its prey. That's what we're doing here. We're not gonna rush in for the kill. We're gonna take our time, consolidate our position, and slowly but surely, we're gonna suffocate our opponent's king. Every move is calculated, every piece perfectly placed to restrict their king's movement. Slowly, they'll start to panic as they realize the gravity of their situation. They're trapped, caged in by their own pieces, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. The Python strategy is a slow burn, but trust me, the satisfaction of watching your opponent squirm is second to none. Chapter 5. The 5-Move Prophecy Checkmate. Now, for trick number 5, we're going deep into the realm of chess psychology with the 5-Move Prophecy Checkmate. This one's all about reading your opponent, predicting their moves, and setting a trap they'll walk right into. It's a dance of wits, where every move is calculated and every gesture is a clue. The name is a bit of a misnomer because you're not actually predicting the future. Instead, you're orchestrating a series of moves that seem to give your opponent options, but in reality, they are all leading to the same inevitable conclusion. You're just setting up a series of forcing moves that lead to an inevitable checkmate, regardless of what your opponent does. It's like laying down a path of breadcrumbs that your opponent can't help but follow. The key is to make your opponent think they have a choice, when in reality, every path leads to the same outcome. Checkmate in 5 moves. It's a masterful illusion, a sleight of hand that leaves them bewildered. They'll analyze the board, convinced they can outsmart you, but every move they make will just push them closer to the abyss. It's a psychological game as much as it is a strategic one. This is a high-level tactic, requiring a deep understanding of chess principles and your opponent's mindset. You need to be several steps ahead, anticipating their reactions and countering them before they even realize what's happening. But when executed correctly, it's like a beautiful symphony of destruction. Each move is a note, each strategy a chord, culminating in a harmonious checkmate that leaves your opponent in awe. Chapter 6. The Lightning Sacrifice Trick. Get ready for trick number 6 because this one's a real showstopper. The Lightning Sacrifice. Now, sacrificing pieces in chess can be a risky business, but when done right, it can lead to some truly spectacular victories. The Lightning Sacrifice is all about speed and surprise. We're not talking about a slow, calculated exchange of material, we're talking about a sudden, unexpected sacrifice that will leave your opponent reeling. Imagine this, you sacrifice your knight seemingly for no reason. Your opponent, thinking they've gained a massive advantage, eagerly snatches up the free piece. But little do they know they've just walked into your web of destruction. It's about showing your opponent that you're not afraid to take risks, that you're always thinking several moves ahead. We're moving on to trick number 7, which we'll call the Boomerang Knight Gambit. This strategy is not just a move but a psychological play that can turn the tide of the game in your favor. This one's a personal favorite of mine, as it involves one of the trickiest pieces on the board, the knight. The knight's unique movement can be both a blessing and a curse, but in this gambit, we'll make it our secret weapon. Now, the knight is often underestimated, seen as a minor piece compared to the powerful queen or the long-range rooks. However, its ability to jump over other pieces in its unpredictable path make it a formidable piece in the right hands. But in the right hands, the knight can be a lethal weapon. It's all about timing and positioning, and with the Boomerang Knight Gambit, we'll show just how powerful this piece can be. And with the Boomerang Knight Gambit, we're going to use its unique movement pattern to our advantage. The knight's L-shaped move allows it to strike from unexpected angles, catching your opponent off guard. The idea here is to move your knight back towards your own side of the board, seemingly retreating from the action. This move might look like a defensive retreat, but it's actually setting up a trap. Your opponent, thinking they've gained a tempo, will likely push their pawns forward, eager to capitalize on your mistake. They'll see your knight's retreat as an opportunity to advance their position. But here's where the boomerang effect comes into play. The knight's retreat is just a feint, a way to lure your opponent into overextending their pieces. Just when they think they've got you on the ropes, you unleash your knight, using its L-shaped movement to fork their queen and king, or deliver a devastating attack on their back rank. This sudden counterattack can disrupt their entire strategy. It's about lulling your opponent into a false sense of security, then striking when they least expect it. The Boomerang Knight Gambit is a perfect example of how psychological tactics can be just as important as the moves themselves in the game of chess. Let's talk about trick number 8, the invisible checkmate. This one's all about subtlety and finesse. It's not about brute force or flashy sacrifices, it's about quietly maneuvering your pieces into position, setting up a checkmate that your opponent will never see coming. The invisible checkmate often involves using your minor pieces, bishops, knights, even pawns, to weave a web of control around your opponent's king. The key is to do it subtly, without drawing attention to your plan. Your opponent, focused on their own attack or trying to calculate their next move, will often overlook the subtle threats you're creating. They'll move their king to what they think is a safe square, only to realize, too late, that they've walked right into your trap. It's a testament to the strategic depth of chess, proving that sometimes, the quietest moves are the deadliest. Alright, trick number 9, the pawn army takeover. Now this one might seem a bit unorthodox, but trust me on this. We're going to show everyone that pawns aren't just cannon fodder, they can be a force to be reckoned with. The idea here is to create a powerful pawn chain, advancing them strategically and supporting them with your other pieces. Pawns are only weak if they're isolated and unsupported. But when you create a strong pawn structure, when you advance them as a cohesive unit, they become a formidable force. And the best part? Your opponent will likely underestimate your pawn army, thinking they can easily brush them aside. And finally, we've reached the grand finale, trick number 10, the Hollywood finish checkmate. This one's not just about winning the game, it's about winning with style, with panache, with a move so epic, so dramatic, that it'll be talked about for years to come. The Hollywood finish checkmate is all about creating a spectacle. It's about sacrificing material, launching a daring attack, and delivering a checkmate that will leave your opponent speechless. Think back to some of the most iconic chess games in history. Games with stunning queen sacrifices, brilliant combinations, and unexpected checkmates. You want your opponent to be so stunned by the beauty of your play that they almost forget they just lost. So there you have it, my friends. 10 crazy chess tricks that will leave your opponents absolutely speechless. Now I know some of these tactics might seem a bit advanced, but don't be intimidated. The key is to study these tricks, practice them, and most importantly, have fun with them. Experiment, see what works for you, and don't be afraid to get creative on the board. Which trick blew your mind the most? Comment below, and if you use one of these to crush your opponent, hit that like button.